Coming to you live from downtown Detroit, this is Benzinga's Pre-Market Prep with your host, Joel Elconin.
This is a volatile puppy here, isn't it?
And Dennis Dick.
I'm bidding a penny. I will buy the stock for a penny.
With everything you need to start your trading day. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this Tuesday edition of Benzinga's Pre-Market Prep. Spencer Israel, Joel Elconin, Dennis is here. You can see his chair is empty, but I promise he's here. He'll be back in a second. Not a lot in the way of big movers today. We've got some stocks moving up and stocks moving down, but no real big names moving in either direction. Market's just kind of trending lower a little bit, but nothing really in the way of big time movers. We do have news. We do have ratings. We'll get to that. Our guest is Nic Chahine. He is the author of Create Income with Option Spreads, also runs the site sellspreads.com. He'll be on the show at 8:35. See, I told you Dennis was here. I want to get, there's Jason Resnick. Hello, Jason.
Hi, guys.
Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Thank you very much. And let's throw it to Joel now, and Joel will update us on what exactly is going on in this pre-market trading session after we unmute him. Joel.
Good morning, traders and investors. We're slightly in the green by a point here, 33.94. Good level on the upside, 33.99 a quarter. Yesterday's high, 34 even. Either a potential top, which I don't think so, but blast through there. 34.19 and a quarter is my next target. On the downside, pre-market low 33.80 and a quarter. That's a good daily level I have as well. You have crude up 74 cents in a trading range here, really 36, 37 to 40, moving up on that 40 as 40 is the exact high. Gold distancing itself from 1900 up $3.60 at 1923.70. Silver in the green by 3.5 cents at 24.595. And Bitcoin, that's down $60, 150 point range here. Down $60 at 10,755. We gotta get Triple D going here. He's got the battle glove. He's in the battle zone.
Well, not even in the battle zone, in a little bit of the shock zone. This has been, you ever have one of those days? This is one of those days. I'm telling you, this is one of those days. For multiple reasons, but the main reason looking at here is I just happen to be on the wrong side of every single trade, I think, today. And this is going to happen. This is the law of large numbers. You know, if you trade for 250 days a year, you can't expect to come in and make money on 250 days. Sometimes you can have the best systems in the world, and you're just going to have a day where the numbers just work against you. Just like at the casino is going to have a day where the numbers are just going to work against you. Multiple people are going to win jackpots, and you're going to have a bad day in the payout. The law of large numbers says over the long term, though, if you have systems and you have a systematic edge, you're going to make money. Today is the day that I give a little bit back because I'm on the wrong side of like every single trade.
And this is like the second time in the last, I'd say 3 weeks, right?
I don't remember the other one.
Yeah, you were.
I think I must have clawed back.
You did, but
I think I'm still on the streak. I don't think I've had a down day in 3 months.
Okay.
I think I'm still on the streak. I'd have to check that. I know I was down the one day and I was pretty down about it, but I fought that whole day. Like, you know, I'm down in the morning and I fought till 8 o'clock at night, and I ended up turning it around. But today is such a hole. I really would be shocked if my streak doesn't end today. I'm pretty sure I'm on about a 3-month streak of not having a down day, though.
So you go from
that. Not talking my investment account. Investments are up and down. I'm talking my day trading account. So go ahead. What were you asking?
You go 8 to 8, like you consider your trading day 8 to 8.
Well, it's my bright trading day trading account. So yeah, I come in. It starts fresh usually. So usually I'm out of everything by about 10 a.m. And then we know I don't like trading from 10 to 2. It's chop fast. There's not much in there. I come back to my computer screen after 2 o'clock, sometimes as late as 3 o'clock. And then I start getting positions on for my overnight trading. We know I like to be long stocks. I'm going to report. I like to, you know, I talk about the strategies all the time.
You do.
Ex-dividend strategies. There's all kinds of different strategies that I employ. And then I trade the news. So I got my Benzinga Pro open and I trade the news from 4 to 8 o'clock, trading headlines and saying, okay, well, this is worth this and this is worth this, so I see an upgrade. If I think it's worth 3%, it's only up 1%, I'll pay up 1%. All different edges like that. That's what I'm trying to employ. And there's probably, if I wrote them all down, I probably have 50 different strategies. I employ them all systematically, though, with very little thinking. Not very many of them are based on a chart, I'll tell you that. But anyways, this is just one of those days. I have 26 overnight positions and I'm down on almost all of them. And I'm like, I don't know why, but even, hedges and stuff, I'm fairly hedged. It's just one of those days where it just is not working out. So as a trader, you're going to have these days.
So Dennis, I'm curious, you have days, because we don't talk about this too often. So you probably have days where you feel like it's so easy, you don't even have to try.
Yep.
And then you have days like today, or maybe that day a few weeks ago, where you literally have to work all day and maybe
lose money.
maybe barely make money or lose money.
Yeah, you do. And you can trade. And some days I can trade very well and not make money. And then other days I can trade very poorly and make a lot. So it's just a matter, there's a lot of luck on day to day. Even if you're running, I always treat my business like a casino. I feel like I'm kind of playing like the house. I'm doing strategies that I have a 52 to 53, 55% edge in. So, you flip a coin and it's 55% edge, it's still 45% chance it's going to come up tails and you're going to lose. But, if you flip that coin enough times that day, and I'm trying to flip the coin sometimes 200, 300 times a day, the odds of losing money on any given day are pretty low. But you're still going to have that day where it doesn't work out. And you can have the best systems in the world, and some days it's just not going to work out. It appears that this is the day. I've dug a huge hole, just bad overnight positions. It started right at 4 o'clock, and I'll tell you the first trade in a second. But it started right at 4 o'clock. And the first trade actually wasn't even a trade. It was just something to get me down. But anyways, it's one of those days. So as a trader, I've struggled with it for years, trying to, get, try not to let emotions get the best of you. You come in, you're like, holy mackerel, I'm getting whacked. Well, you just got to be able to take it in stride. My buddy Chris Banyan, who I traded with for years, was the best at this. He could come in, be down $50,000 and just shrug it off. He's like, we'll get it back tomorrow. And I'd be down less than that and be like, just, mad about it. So, I've struggled, and I think I'm getting better, after 20 years of handling the emotions, but it's tough. I mean, this is a business where you're going to definitely have good days and bad days, and it's going to hit your bottom line. You have good days at work. Normal people have good days and bad days at work, but they still make money. You're still getting paid. You have a bad day trading, and this is your job, you're losing money. So you're actually, net loss for the day. And that's why, it's a different business. So you just got to be able to try to take it in stride as much as you can. Try not let it affect your next trade, and know that there's a huge luck factor involved on any given day. I mean, I could come in, have a great setup, and then, there's news on your stock, or you're short a stock and gets upgraded, and you're like, well, that sucks. But that's just bad luck. It's not maybe your strategy, it's just bad luck.
Yeah, just going back to one bright trading story, and that Eddie likes to tell. And there was a trader. He was struggling, and Eddie's like, "What's up? What's going?" And he's like, "Well, the market ain't acting right." And he just kind of looked at him and he said, "Well, maybe it ain't the market." But the reason I'm bringing that up here is because I think you're coming in to a pretty tricky time in the market. Technicals are always going to be technicals, but the fundamentals right here coming into the election, there's a president that got sick, with the virus. There's a lot of things. So you're not the only one out there, Dennis, that's maybe in the red today and not being able to explain what's going on. I think it's a really interesting month, and hopefully, we have a clear winner one way or another after November. But I think there's some market dynamics going on too. I know what your trading style is and how you do things, but It's just, there's other things going on. And the fact that this is the second time that's happened to you in the last, I know you battled back that other time.
Yeah, I remember it a few weeks ago though, but that's funny. And that's a good thing that if you're forgetting already, when you had that bad day, it's good. You've got to be able to take it in stride. And, people are saying it's not about me. I mean, I'm trying to teach a lesson here though. There's a lot of people who are in here trying to actually do trading as a business. And I'm trying to teach a lesson here. When you have a bad day, if your systems are good, you're going to have bad days, and you've just got to let it affect your next trade. Because if you start letting it affect your next trade and saying, oh, I'm going to, and I'm struggling here. I mean, like a lot of people will say this is a rule, and I think this is the stupidest rule you'll ever read. They're saying when you're having, bad days or bad trades, stop trading altogether. Stop trading that day and move on. I have a systematic approach. Once you've been trading long enough, does the casino shut down just because they have somebody hit the jackpot? Spencer Israel, do they do that?
I never hit the jackpot, so I wouldn't know.
Oh, no, but if the casino, if you're running the casino, Wynn Resorts,
Yeah,
and somebody gets a jackpot, do they shut the whole casino down?
Obviously not.
Exactly. That's the dumbest rule you'll ever read. Now, if you're new trading and you're letting your emotions get the best of you, definitely take a walk. But if you've been trading for 20 years and you have a systematic approach, don't stop trading because, just because that affects you. Keep employing your systems. Don't let emotion get in there. And that's the thing. Separate the emotion from the thing. But I never stop trading. Even if I'm doing bad, I never stop trading because I'm employing my systematic approach to the markets. And, if I employed enough, you can fight back on that day. That was a bad day I was having 3 weeks ago. I ended up green that day, I'm pretty sure, because I looked the other day and my streak was still on. So I think it's, if you're even trading a long time, I don't think you need to step up and walk away.
All right, let's go, Spencer. Take the wheels here.
Well, we just got a headline. Long the American Eater, Wingstop, which is not a name we've talked about recently.
Oh, the old Wingster.
This is actually about a half hour ago now. But the news is that they gave some early comps for Q3. And their same-store sales are really good, up 25% year over year for domestic same-store sales. System-wide sales up 32% year over year. Digital sales up 62%.
Yeah.
Wingstop. You cannot stop it.
This stock, you can, and that's the Wingstop does not get stopped. I mean, it got stopped here for a bit, but it's been in consolidation station here for a little while, and now it's starting to get up into this area where it fell down through quickly. We always say what goes up through an area quickly can come down through an area quickly. You will run into overhead supply. It's not surprising the first stopping point appears to be 150, the big hole numbers. We know there's options, optionality, probably higher strike at that point, the 150. So it makes sense, but you're not much in this area. So you just kind of, cascaded through it back in the early September, and now you're coming back up through it. So I think you're kind of almost in the middle of nowhere at 150.
Yeah, let's see here. I'm trying to adjust my chart here to reflect the 50% retracement.
Look at Joel drawing lines as he goes. This guy's getting good at these charts.
Yeah, a little bit. Yep, Gary. I had to get a little lesson from Gary again. A little bit tougher than it looks, but anyways, you're through it. It looks like you're just barely through it. I did do the exact math. Pre-market high just over 152. Man, it's just so wide open here. Just like when it was coming down here, where's it going to stop? 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 So I kind of feel like going here, maybe you could look at some daily highs and try and figure it. First stopping point will be, or first potential area of resistance is 152 and change. What's the pre-market high? Pre-market high comes in at 152.75. Nothing there on the dailies. Maybe if you want to look for a little bit more, 158.54, but that's a big move. And my big question is anyone ever had those wings? Because I've never had those.
No,
wings.
I haven't either.
Have you?
I mean, apparently a lot of people do have them though, because this stock has been one of the best stocks since obviously, it went all the way down to like what did it get down to $44 during the March crisis there, and it's been coming back. So. The one thing, the stock got killed early September. It's coming back in through that area. You do have a lot of overhead supply if you get up to that 160, but kind of in the middle of nowhere, 150.
And then I want to back up for a minute because Dennis, you mentioned you were gonna tell us what the first trade was that kind of put you in the hole today. Was that AYX?
Yeah, it was. And I've held this stock ever since Jeremy Newsom was on the show. And props to Jeremy Newsom. He called this out on his show about a month ago. He was early though. And it went up to 120. I bought around 114. Went up to 123, 124. Shortly after, felt like a hero. And then it's been hanging out around 104 to 105. And I feel like a zero holding this. This was, in the swing trading, a little longer term account. I wasn't having it forever, but I was holding on to it. And it was starting to look like a dog. I actually thought about selling it the other day, which I did not. And then it comes out the news at 4:05, new CEO. And the stock spikes up from 113 to 125. And then it pauses. You won't see the pause on that blue chart, but it paused for a good 30 seconds to a minute. I was like, you know what? I'm like, new CEO. It's worth $12. I'm like, really? I'm like, I'm selling this thing. So I've held this thing for a month and I sell it at 125. Not even a second later. Oh, guidance too. And I'm like, they up guidance. I was like, are you kidding me? And whether the guidance came out and I just missed it, maybe it came out with the whole press release, but I think the guidance came out slightly after. And then it pops up and just runs to 150. And I'm like, I held this thing for a month. And if I would have held for another 5 minutes, I wouldn't have sold at 125. I could have been selling it at 150. So anyways, that's where I'm, was already bummed out. And maybe so I did let the emotion take me in the trading. So I actually did make money on it. But I mean, that's me saying I didn't think a CEO was worth $12 and not knowing that there was raised guidance in there.
So here's the thing about that is it was in the same press release at 4:05, but it was at the bottom. They buried it. The headline of the press release was announcing new CEO. Didn't say anything about
you had to read it.
Q3 guidance. You had to actually go into the PR and scroll down to that section. So it
and obviously the bots maybe can read a little bit faster than I can, but I thought it was just a new CEO, and I thought 12 points on a new CEO was overdone. And I also looked at all those highs, Joel. You know where I was looking back to September. I looked at the chart and I was like, look at 3 highs, 125, 126, new CEO. I was like $12. I'm like, sold. I'll rebuy this thing when it gets back down to 115 again. Obviously not going to be the case because rip your face off rally and continues on it, and I don't participate.
So you sold it out of your long and went short?
No, I didn't go short. I just sold out of my long-term account.
Oh, okay.
So, but still, you're ticked off because you've held it for a month, and you literally didn't know. I didn't know that it had raised guidance because, like Spencer said, I sold too fast. I should have waited, But sometimes you see these initial spikes, and you got to sell on the initial spike to get the hell out of it. So because then you're like, oh, CEO, this is overdone. And sometimes they come right back in. So I'm sure there's situations where that trade works out for me too. But anyways, that's where, that's what, obviously rubbed me wrong to start my trading day. That, I missed out on the bulk of this gain because I didn't hold on for another 10 minutes after holding a stock for a month. But, this happens. And obviously I've talked about this before, as I'm very good at entering trades. I'm not very good on exits. I've been that way for a long time.
152, and you can tell on the dailies that is in the middle of no man's land of 152 because you get up to 170 to fill the gap, pull back to 135. So you had an 18-point retreat off that high, and now you're just climbing your way back. I'd be inclined to think that it's going to be hard to get up to that 152. I don't think you're going to crash down to 130. But I think people that, waited a little bit longer, missed the 152. I think they're just kind of, slow sellers here. 50% retracement. I think I drew this one a little bit better. Comes in at the 145 area. So if that was your target, you're going to get a chance at it. But that was just a sleeper. And there you go. You have a decline off earnings. You have a long consolidation. You have
and then an explosion.
And then there's definitely back in September and October, along with Jeremy Newsom, there was some institutional accumulation there. They were just being patient. I'm buying this under 110. I'm buying this under 110. and then you got the move. But that 152, at least for today, would be a real juicy target. Just don't in my bones. I just don't think it's going to get there. To fill the gap, if you're a gap fill trader, you're going to have to wait for 168.70. And as we speak, the S&Ps are creeping up on that pre-market high of 33.99.
Buy the dip, wins again.
Yep, wasn't much of a dip either. Couldn't have went a few more ticks on the downside, but anyways, you know, they don't hit bids when the market's going up, right, Dennis?
That's usually what they say. At least that's what you tell me. So, okay, lots of other stocks. I mean, this day is very mixed. You're seeing some stocks up, some stocks down. You're definitely seeing a rotate into the value trade. IWM up substantially over the QQQ. IWM's up 0.6% now. QQQ is down 0.3%. So they have a tidy 1%, you know, blowout there between value versus growth, which, you know, you can easily see IWM versus QQQ. I don't know where you want to go from an individual stock perspective here, Spencer. There's a lot of upgrades, downgrades. Solar's been hot. I mean, there's a lot of stories here.
PSA, I am writing down all the tickers that are being dropped in the YouTube and the Benzinga.com chats, just an FYI. So keep dropping them in and I'll keep writing them down. We'll cover them at the end of the show. What about lithium stocks here? That may be the new trade. Just wake up. Don't even look at what the market's doing and just go enter LTHM, hit buy, enter PLL, hit buy, LAC maybe, hit buy, maybe not so much now. It's like the second or third day in a row.
They have not stopped going up since 2 days after Battery Day when they slammed them all. So this lithium, obviously Joel, myself, Raz are all still long it. Did you get in this one, Spencer? LTHM? No. Not participating in this one, but this is just now getting, you know, this is a move. I mean, we were $7, 6 trading sessions ago, we're 12. We're talking about stocks up 80% in like 6 trading sessions. So, you know, if I had this in the trading account, I'd probably look at that high back at 12:30 in February and think maybe I should lighten up. There is a big market, you know, a big bogey here, Joel. I don't know. What are you doing?
I'm not touching it. I'm lucky.
I'm trying to make this the Joel Elconin, Jason Raznick trade. I'm going to listen to these guys. If Raz is in the chat, I'm not sure he is. He came and said hi on the show, but he might be busy. But yeah. I don't know. I'm holding on but Joel never sells is the problem. So you can't follow Joel. You're never going to follow
Raz.
He'll die with it.
Joel will die with
Joel will die with that one. Joel doesn't sell anything.
Do you want me to get Dana or Emily to see what they are planning on doing with it?
Here you go. Joel will pass this on to his daughters when he passes in 30 years. Because Joel's in great shape. He's got another good 30 years of him.
Hey, I don't.
Either lithium's gonna be at 0 or it's gonna be at $1 million by then.
I don't look a day over 57, do I?
No, not a day.
You're in better shape than I am, Joel. I'm going to give you that.
12. I didn't get a chance.
That's swimming helps.
12.29. That was a monthly high. Dennis mentioned that. It's at 12.27. The other one that it almost sniffed here, Dennis, if you want to sell it, maybe just under 13. Your April 2019 high was 12.92. And you got a little bit of confluence there because you got the 12.90. So I think this is going to have some problems with 13. I did step in front of it yesterday with my resistance, but today, I mean, that's just a big move off the 750. I'd be tempted at the 12.90.
We need charts too, Joel. You're slacking today.
I'm sorry.
He's had his birthday. He's a year older here now. You got to give him a break.
There we go. Here's your 12.90 high.
The body is good.
Here's your 12.92 high, or that's your 12.29 high, and this is your 12.92 high. There you go.
All right. Well, we had Andrew left on our show last week, and he said that he thinks Sonos is a buy, if only because he thinks Apple could potentially buy them. I'm not sure he's right. Doesn't look like it now. Apple or Bloomberg reporting that Apple is basically going to stop selling Sonos and Logitech audio products in their stores as Apple prepares to go deeper into that space. So SONO and LOGI both down this morning on that report.
LOGI obviously trades over in Europe as well, and it is getting whacked to the tune of $5. So they are slamming this one for it. Sonos says they're giving it a little bit of a pass. I'm long Sonos just because I bought it last week when Andrew left said that. Now I'm like, I don't know what to do because I'm up. I bought it like 1440. I like the idea that he said, well, somebody's going to buy Sonos, but it doesn't appear to be Apple because they're not going to sell their products anymore. So
Right.
I have made mistakes selling companies though, because they're getting competition from one of the big guns, and those are often buying opportunities.
Amazon.
I'm just looking. I don't know. Did you buy the Sonos, Joel? You didn't get in this one.
No,
Eh?
I did not buy this one. No.
I'm really torn on this because I'm still up in it here at 1521 this morning, and obviously we have new fundamental information, which is not good, but the chart don't look bad, and if it can hold 15,
There you go.
it's still in okay shape. I mean, but the
Yeah.
news makes me spook that this story could start to get all over the media, and it obviously is already. And so maybe it flushed to 1450 last night. Maybe that was the flush.
Yeah, I take it a little bit under 1450.
Stockhand says get out.
Right here.
I kind of want to.
1520. I mean, 3 lows in a row in that area, and you're just sitting there. So if it doesn't hold 1520, I might be looking at 1463.
I don't like that because that's where I bought it.
Okay. And on the upside, oh man, maybe sneak an offer out there at 1550. That was Friday's high, and 1564 was your close on yesterday. Or excuse me, 1550 was your close on Friday, 1564 yesterday. So if you want to get out, I think you might get a chance to get out at the mark, but definitely really at an impact area here, needing to hold 1520.
Very torn.
All right, a couple of interesting ratings today. I feel like we've been talking about ratings more in the last month than we did from like February.
Because there's no earnings.
August.
Yep.
I suppose earnings season does start again next week.
The analyst, it's true, and it's a great point you just made. During earnings season, the analysts are more quiet because they're focused on earnings, and they're obviously still ratings, but there's, and we're focusing on earnings too, so maybe it's a little bit of selective perception on our part, but there seems to be less ratings during earnings season.
Yeah, well, a couple of big upgrades today that caught my eye. Costco upgraded Barclays to overweight, gave it a $400 price target. Let's start there. Costco.
COST.
I think I think they're going to be right. I think it's eventually going to $400. If I never buy this one, I always like it, but I never buy it. So the chart looks okay. 362.
I don't know why I didn't buy this in April.
I know.
I wanted to, and I didn't.
I know. I've wanted to buy this thing every time we bring it up on the show. I like it, but I never buy it. 363 is a high back in September.
Yeah.
Probably going to take it out today. Stocks making new all-time highs. Why not? I mean, why not 400?
Yeah,
I don't think the Costco story's going away. I don't think people are going to stop shopping at Costco. It's loved. It trades with a higher valuation than its peers, but valuation, we know how much that matters in this market. So why not 400? I agree.
63.67, 363.67 is that all-time high. Dennis is talking about in the pre-market, you haven't been able to get there. 62.90. I think historically, and I don't have any statistics to back this up. It makes these kind of moves. It's a big, thick stock, and I think it would be more likely to fade a little bit on this one. I don't see it going 363, 364, 365 today, just because it was up here a while ago in September. Maybe it will hit 400 eventually. My only criticism of Costco, they had to get rid of the samples, obviously. They don't always have the same stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
True. That's true.
And that's probably just, the supply chains or whatever, but I'm the kind of guy when I go to the store, I want to see what I got there last time. That's what I want. But no, great looking chart. I just if you want to sell today, maybe you get a look at that all-time high. It does 363.67.
All right, we talked about this one last week. SeaWorld is upgraded this morning at Credit Suisse to outperform. Making a call.
The dogs have been barking. I go back to the L brands. It continues to defy logic, and Bed Bath & Beyond, they just want to own that thing now, and it's gap and go in territory, and it's squeezing. The squeeze is on. So if you're in a stock, it's got a 30 or 40, if you're short a stock, it's got 20, 30, 40% short interest. Danger Will Robinson. I don't know what the short interest is on SeaWorld, but we can squeeze them here too. I would bet it's fairly high. What do you got, Spencer? I got over 10, so it's not super
Yeah,
high, but
10.2%.
yeah, 10. So it's not
That's
as
not
crazy as I
super.
thought, but
That's not low, but it's definitely not high.
nah. So, but either way, I mean, the dogs have been barking. This thing gets above 22 and it starts to go too. It doesn't make any sense to me. No, it makes zero sense to me, but this market doesn't make any sense half the time. So I'd say you got resistance of 22 above that. It's in breakout mode, but I'm not going long because I don't like Shamu.
You've got nowhere near that 22. So let's look at yesterday. Oh, we did yesterday, and then oh, I'm looking at triple BY. I'm sorry, folks.
I did the
I,
same thing.
I had
When
a
you get
chart.
two stocks around the same price, have you ever done this? I trade so much. I'm like, I thought I sold that stock. And then you realize, oh no, you sold another stock that's in your trading portfolio at the same price because you thought you had this ticker up and you had the other ticker up when you switch tickers back and forth. I literally trade so much. I do that like once a month where I'm like, I thought I just sold that. Why is it back in my portfolio? I was like, oh my goodness, I sold Bed Bath & Beyond. I meant to sell SeaWorld. I mean, that happens in my account because I'm trading that off and I'm just looking at the price and then not paying attention to the name. And I flipped it back to look at something else. I didn't realize I flipped it back and I just hit the sell button. Oops.
Dennis mentioned 22 here, 21.46 up 92 cents on very light volume. Look at all those highs above 22. Actually, you're taking out that 21 from 6 days ago, but let's see what happens. I mean, going back in September, the actual monthly high, what came in at 22.36. So yeah, it's got the momentum. Just getting up and closing above 22 would be important for this stock. Is it moving fun or any of this other stuff or not really? No.
No, it's an upgrade. So again, and this is a good point to make. If you're looking for sympathy moves, it's usually off of earnings because they think, oh, the earnings are good there, the earnings are going to be good here. Stock gets upgraded. It's like, oh, they got upgraded here, so the other one's going to probably get upgraded. That train of thought doesn't work. So you typically don't see sympathy moves with on ratings changes. Now fun could just be up because we got this value trade going on, and obviously that's more of a value IWM type stock than it is a tech stock. So you might see a rally today just for that reason, but I don't think it's going to rally because of SeaWorld.
All right, 8:32. We've got Nic Chahine joining us in 3 minutes. SunPower also upgraded this morning from GLJ Research. Our friend Gordon Johnson upgraded them to buy SPWR, so that is up on that.
What a move! I'm long. I've been long and strong, and I feel like Joel Elconin on this one. I've doubled my money on this puppy. Trying to hold on to it. I like Gordo, and now he's upgrading it, so I don't know. It makes me not want to sell it, although you do have a big pesky high of 1604 back from August of 2019. Joel, I know what you would do, be in it. You'd be holding it if you were in it. Are you in it?
No, I'm not in this, son. Not in.
Are you in A-Solar stocks?
No, I'm not. I'm not. But and I've definitely have missed the boat on solar. I think we talk about the election and things like that. I think people are looking ahead perhaps to solar. I mean, solar, electrical. I mean, they've been hot. This is breaking out. Not quite. What was yesterday's high? You're still at yesterday's high, 1594. So you haven't taken out. Pretty clear sailing over 16 here. You'll have to go over the monthlies to try and find something. Maybe 1656. Wow, that was back in March of 2016, and then 1721. The only thing I would be a little leery about this one is it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 up days in a row. So if you want to,
when you get to that 9.
moving, yeah. S&P's
days.
just poked our head over 3,400 and
Can't keep a good market down.
Yeah, 3,401 and a quarter. 3403 the high. So we have, for right now, we've taken out yesterday's high.
I'm sorry I missed this about 10 minutes ago, but Vir Biotech, VIR, and GSK announced that they're proceeding with the expansion of phase 3 of their COVID-19 drug trial. So VIR is up.
Oh, when did that come out?
About 10 minutes ago. So
that's your pop.
Yeah.
I mean, we're getting these little lifts. We know, especially because I'm seeing it go into the old airlines a little bit. We're seeing the cruise lines trade up 1.5% here now. We're seeing the banks trade higher. You're totally seeing the reopening trade happening here a little bit. So I was wondering where the catalyst was coming from because you could clearly see it here this morning.
Yeah, Spencer, don't tell us
It's
something
VIR.
a half hour ago.
10 minutes. So give them a break.
10 minutes, okay.
I mean, you're trying to do a live radio show, so you can't monitor all.
What was the other stock?
It's VIR and GSX. Wait.
GSK or GSX?
GSK. Sorry.
I mean, we know it's not going to affect your GlaxoSmithKline. Right. It's a huge company. So VIR getting a lift. What do you think of the VIR chart? I mean, it started going yesterday. Some of these vaccine plays are starting to show life here once again. I've had a lot of them for dead, but Novavax just isn't going down. So it held 100. So that's good news for the bulls. It's trading flat here this morning, obviously down just slightly because whenever somebody else comes out with a good drug for whatever reason, they hit the other ones down because it's a race to who's going to be first. But some of these plays look okay. INO too is holding above 10. So some of these actually don't look bad.
Well, you just went through like 5 stocks there.
That's how I go. 5 stocks at once. Go, Joe, go.
I'll just go with the VIR. You had a quick pop to 48. You faded back to 45. So that makes me a little more think that you're going to have a hard time getting to sell that one at 48. You just take 44.51. These stocks have been selling off, except for the Regeneron yesterday. Dennis, I hope you got out of that one okay. Because
I know Chris won on that one.
You kept.
That was funny, eh? He says, I bought it. Well, I sold it after hours. I don't know where he bought it. I was selling it up 25 points because I thought it was overdone. Wrong. Don't be fading. The fade trade here didn't work well for me on AYX or REGN.
I'm just curious about Gilead. Do you know that this stock has had 6 months of lower highs going on 7?
At least it's it's finding support where it needed to find support. We talked about, and this was at 70. We talked about it being down at 62, 63. And I said I would be a buyer if it ever came back down to there. Here it is, back down those levels. I'm not a buyer. Maybe I should be. Maybe this remdesivir starts to get, more, talk here too, because it was popping up on remdesivir again the other day. So, if you're taking a flyer on Gilead here, I won't yell at you.
All right. You got Mr. Chahine back there.
Dude, Nic Chahine.
Yes.
He is here. Nick,
I am here.
You better have perfect eyesight now.
Well, near perfect, and actually perfect in the right, near perfect in the left on purpose, so I can read without glasses. They made me short-sighted a little bit, nearsighted, I guess.
You must be trading better here since you have good vision now.
Well, I tell you what, I have a better back now. I don't have to lean forward to see the screen.
I know. I'm always like this. I'm leaning right into the screen. I got the glasses and I'm leaning. What numbers? What stock is?
Yeah, I can sit back and see those sharp little numbers down there. Yeah, that's awesome.
How's it going?
Pretty good. The COVID thing is throwing everybody into a loop, but really the charts have offered real good guidance as far as to make decisions, at least when not to make certain decisions. Like this morning with this pop, people are probably piling in. Mm-hmm. They should look left a little bit, like towards, the 16th, 15th in for the S&P.
Yeah.
This was a prior ledge. So once they get to it, it's not going to be butter going through it. I know we're having little pops on headlines. On the small caps, it's a little different. They have a chance at, if they beat the current situation that they're fighting right now, to actually maybe meet the accident scene from February. So that might be a little exciting there.
So you got any individual stock setups? What are you looking at?
Well, we bought the dip on almost everything. Like for example, when Apple fell below 105, I saw some strong bids, and there was one closing day where it had like 57 million shares. I felt very comfortable, so sold a put spread right at the money, which is unusual for me. I usually leave a buffer, and it was a bet, and it worked out. Did similar things, had really good timing on DraftKings as well. So just sprinkled little bets here and there on things that made sense, counterintuitive to market reaction, because everybody was reacting to the headlines rather than looking at the charts, and it offered a lot of good entry points for that. What was it? Beyond Meat, that was a good grab. The IYT, my thesis there was that going into the holiday season, we have too much money in the economy. I know this is controversial to say, but everybody around me that either has or doesn't have a job or a part-time job is rolling in money from the government. So, and they're spending like fools. I'm talking about my personal friends from the gym that are usually hourly, and they don't usually make a lot of money, put money in their hands and they spend it all. And they're my good friends, and they're just spending like
Keep the economy going.
$500
like this.
$500 on sneakers for somebody who's supposedly unemployed just doesn't make freaking sense. But it's hitting the economy regardless. And the U.S. has always been a consumer economy, right? They tell us it's what, 68% or 60. Yeah, I think it's the government's number is 68% of the economy is.
Who sells $500 sneakers?
I want to see
three
the
pairs. Do the math, dude. You do air math. 3 pairs.
Oh, 3 pairs of sneakers. I say one pair of 500.
Like,
I want to see what a pair of $500 sneakers.
Yeah,
looks like. I was excited for that too. I didn't know Nike sold $500.
Rewind the tape. I said 3 pairs.
You three,
okay, 3 pairs. 3 pairs.
Dennis,
I heard the same thing. I just heard $500 sneakers. I was like, whoa, those are nice.
$500 on sneakers.
I don't pay over $50. I get them on sale. That's why my
50. I paid 20 at Costco for an Adidas.
There you go. Oh, Adidas too. Nice.
Talk about Beyond Meat. We had a question about that in the chat. I mean, what do you do for a target in this one? Just trading up again. The only thing I can see, is a monthly high at 183.96. If you want to sell it on strength on weakness, looks like maybe put a stop below 165. You have 3-4 lows in that area. Do you have a target on that one?
What I bought was
yeah.
What I saw coming was a battle around the 158, and I thought that if they take that out, they will overshoot higher. And they should have tripped at 165, 166 from the poke high in June. But then, but I thought that it could overcome that like in the jolt, and it did. So now it's running in open air. There is no, like you said, there is no close proxy to it. You have to go back all the way to last year in September, and it's above those levels too. So like you said, it's in open air. That's why I liked it. Because the bears don't have any reference to short it. And if they do, it's too far back and it doesn't almost apply right now. And if you look at it from a really far, if you zoom out and you look at it, you can almost say it's in a giant cup and handle that could have, I'm not saying it does, that could have like $80 worth of it, because it fell from August in a giant bowl into a failure in June of this year, and then a smaller bowl into the recent breakout from 163.
I kind of see it.
So if that's correct, then it should hit 220 plus.
Wow. Let me just ask you like a tactical question here, and trading spreads and stuff. It seems like whenever I sell an option, maybe against another option, and it goes, it should be going my way. It just seems like they're always like so well bid. Like, all right, I'm sure, unless I catch it on a real extreme. Are you going out farther? Are you picking on the closer ones and having that premium evaporate? Because it just seems like when I sell an option, it just.
Well, what do you sell? What delta do you sell, and for what purpose? It all depends on what
I do. It like if I have a big lead on something, I'll do like the lower strike or 2 lower strikes to lock it in.
Okay, so when you're doing a big bid on something, meaning you want to capture a big upside move, so you sell put spreads below it. Is that what you're saying?
I'm talking like if I'm long puts.
Okay.
And I get them going my way pretty, in a good way.
Oh, you're trying to spread a winning trade.
Yeah.
So keep it simple. Don't do that. Just take
Don't do that, Joel.
Well, seriously, if you're struggling with it, stop doing it. What you can do is book your profit and buy another one. So, pocket the money and then renew the bet with another leg that has time on the clock. So you struggle with something, just find a way around it. Stop doing it because there are other ways of locking in profits. Take the profit and reopen another one somewhere else. That's what you're essentially doing. Because I see what you're saying. So I own a put and then price moves my way, and I want to lock in the profits by spreading it, selling another put somewhere else that hopefully will die and keep me long in my short the stock by being long that put. I know it's confusing, but you're trying to lock in a profit with a strategy that you're struggling with. There are other ways of doing it. Just ditch it,
Just book it.
and reopen it somewhere else.
Nick, do you limit your universe at all? Are there stocks you won't look at? You won't go below a
Yeah,
certain price
yeah.
and cap?
Yeah, there are stocks that I would love to trade that I don't because of how their options trade. Like if I sell a spread in Shopify, it's freaking impossible to profit from it, especially the day it's moving fast, even in my favor. The bids are so wacky, you can't close the spread. You end up being forced to close them one leg at a time. And with that stock, that's insanity. So there are certain stocks that don't trade well with options on spreads. So if I was doing single legs, that works well, but they are so expensive, they're prohibitive. So easy for me to say. So it's just, there's some of them I avoid. So I need a liquid options ticker that is easy to spread.
Okay. And then what else is on? I guess here's one. How are you positioning yourself, or are you trading the election at all? Are you?
I am. I have an outcome for the election.
Okay.
You're not going to like it. Trump is going to win. There's no doubt about it in my mind. That's my opinion.
Why?
Why? Because nothing has changed. People who hate him, they still hate him. People who love him, they still love him. Period. End of story.
So how are you trading that outcome?
I traded it wrong last time. I knew he was going to win, and I shorted and I lost. So I am not doing the same. So I'm trading the market as long, because there is no alternative other than it go up, because everybody is all invested in everything that has to do with assets. So pick your charts, track the levels that matter, and turn off the news and act on your own, because we do have enough tools. Literally, we have enough tools. And it's easier to do that than to have to listen to Grasso that tells you that Apple is going to $83. So he was saying go into $83, and I'm watching the chart.
Well, he also said Capri the other day on CNBC was going to go up to 100. It's 19.
Who said that?
So
you
he,
can't say
Grasso.
something.
He said
And
five
then
times. He says you can make five times your money on it.
And then they bring.
I was like, I don't know where he's getting that from.
And then they bring Carter Worth to solidify his message and saying that we're headed lower, and he offers real reasons why we're going to 28.50, and then so everybody gets focused on these numbers, and everybody becomes scared, and they forget to look at the actual levels that are above us and below us. So there are triggers everywhere. Just trade the ranges and figure out, every stock has a range. Figure out where the range is and chase the break through any side of this range, up or down. So this makes it easier. It gives you an action plan rather than just reacting to what's in the news. Like Trump went into tested positive for COVID, and everybody freaked out. And I knew where support was going to be, and it showed up. The other day when the markets were falling out of bed, I did a video for my guys and gals, and I said, here's a box in the SPY, and it should hold, and here's why it should hold. The other two times when we reverted to the means and fell through, one was the quarantine. We had that news, which was a game changer. And the other one was the Fed, when they said they're, in 2018, October, they said, we're on cruise control with raising rates. So that killed the market there. This time we have neither of those two. We're done with the quarantine. The Fed is on our side. We will find support where we should have found support on those two other crashes. So I'm buying the dip. And that was the idea. So one of the things we bought, I liked gold. I thought, okay, so the GDX might do better because all stocks are down and the GDX is a bunch of stocks, and I like gold. So that was a double win. And during the tough...
I don't want to stop you on the gold, because it's actually, you were just talking about cup and handles, and I bring up the GLD, and I kind of see one here, and you kind of have the handle right where we broke down from this and if you look at GLD 180, I mean, what do you think here? Are we too late on the gold? We missed the bottom at 175, but I think it kind of looks okay.
Months and months ago, I said gold is the thing to buy because we're saying trillion too many times.
Yeah.
So cash is really dying. So you have to hold your value in assets that governments don't
physical
control.
Assets.
that the government doesn't control. So gold and Bitcoin qualify. And so I did like gold on this bounce recently. So I used the GDX and I sold the put spread in the GDX, and I said I could buy a call spread or calls, and it was a combination of two, and it worked out. Same with the XLK. Sold puts, bought calls, and the bounce happened. That's free money, literally. There is no money out of pocket and just profits. So if you make a plan, then you can act on it. So the plan for gold was, I like gold. I could have bet on the GLD, but I said I'm using the GDX right now because it's a bunch of stocks. And if the stock market, if I think it's going to hold and rally back on a bounce, then the GDX will rally faster than the GLD. So that was an easy trade. So it was a 2-week trade. I had days on it left, so it was pennies to close, and I closed it. So don't leave open cheap risk open when you're selling spreads, because more often than not you get bit by one and it just ruins a whole bunch of other ones for you. If you're selling puts or put spreads and the risk gets cheap, or you get too much risk quickly priced out in your favor, you get too many profits real quick, just take them off. If there's time on the clock, you can reset the trade on the next dip.
All right, Nic Chahine runs Create Income with Option Spreads and sellspreads.com. Nick, thanks for the time. Good to have you back. We'll talk to you in a couple of weeks.
Good to be back. I appreciate it. Thanks.
All right.
Thanks, Nick. Always good.
Before I go to the chat, I want to mention the SPAC of the day. How could I not? IPOC. They are giving back those gains now. But the news is that this is now the third SPAC to be taken public by Chamath Palihapitiya. They are merging with Clover Health. That was announced this morning. This is a healthcare platform for seniors. This is Chamath's third SPAC. As I mentioned, his first one was virtual.
What happened here?
We'll bring up the chart. I want to see it.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
Right here. Rug pull. Holy mackerel.
Where'd this thing get to this morning?
Oh man. It got to over 1450, and
wow.
This was an Alphabet play, I think, an Alphabet company, right, Spencer?
Well, yeah, Alphabet has invested. They were like a venture investor in Clover.
Where's this going to stop, Dennis? Dennis, where are you?
I don't know.
1050?
Well, you know these 1050. Yeah, 1050. I mean, this announced a deal here today, and it's getting slammed on it.
Yeah.
There goes our whole SPAC strategy.
I
you
know.
Like buy the SPAC, and then it announces the deal, and then you sell into the spike. I guess if you were doing it early, you made money at 6 o'clock. But wowzers, this is rug pull. You're right.
Wow.
Rug pull trade.
I don't know if we've seen that before.
Say his name again.
Chamath Palihapitiya.
Holy mackerel! You speak well.
That's like Brent announcing the different drugs.
And he is pretty good at it too.
Yeah.
Spencer does a good job too. Me and Joel butcher everything.
I still can't say Remdesivir. Remdesivir? What's it called?
I can't say it either.
And it's like, it's just the way it's sounded.
They do it intentionally, and they laugh when they come up with these names, like just because they know, oh, watch the media will get this one all wrong here for sure. We'll throw an extra couple, consonants where there should be vowels, and we'll see if they can pronounce it.
All right. I want to get to some of the tickers that I've written down.
Yeah, let's do it. Ticker time.
We'll do ticker time here. We'll start with NanoX. NNOX is the ticker.
NNOX.
Yep. One off the board for the first one. I have never made it. There's not a lot of stocks I've never traded before. This is one of them. I see why, because it's only been out there for, it looks like, just over a month. I'll add it to my universe, but I know absolutely nothing about this company.
It's healthcare imaging. It's right. It's like
what's happened in the last
medical imaging.
So what's happened in the last 3 days? This was in the complete doghouse and down 23, and then it just doubled in 3 days. Is there a news headline in the last 3 days?
They did announce a new product, I guess if you want to call it that.
I hope it's a good one.
Or they demonstrated a new imaging system at a conference, they will demonstrate at a future conference. So we've got this conference here from November 29th to December 5th, and they're going to demonstrate their new technology at that conference. And that was the headline from yesterday.
It's unbelievable move for 2 days. Stocks basically in 2 days doubled. We went from 23 and we got up to $45. It's basically a double in 2 days. Stocks double in 2 days. You book the profits, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm looking at this one. It's trading what at 40.34. It's up. I had a big range yesterday. I think I almost got to 50% right on the kisser. So I think what you would want to see in this one is it doesn't have to blast off today, and hopefully it doesn't tank to 30. I think the best thing, instead of looking left on the chart, look right, maybe hang out the rest of the week, between 40 and 44, close above this 42.59, and then take a poke at 66.23. But if you can't get, a lot of people are caught in this one. Also, you have a daily high sticking out at 44 even. So this is an important area, 42.5 to 44. If it takes that out, I'd be all for it going up to test that 66.23. If not, there's a lot of room here on the downside.
All right, Levi Strauss actually
Reports tonight.
Report earnings tonight. Yeah, we have a very light earnings week, but Levi's, I guess, the headliner, and for now.
When's the last time you bought a pair of jeans?
Well, this is usually that time of year, right?
Yeah,
it's
I still got
cyclical,
plenty.
right? It's seasonal.
I got-
Seasonality here playing into Levi's. This is just your classic run up ahead of the report. So
Yep.
I was actually long and I just sold it. It's before we started the show, and this is just you buy this thing a couple days before it reports, and you can see we've had a significant run, and maybe there is some rotation into retail that it's been benefiting from, but this has definitely moved more than that, and stock's up basically 10% in 2 days. So now you've got some expectations in here. So we'll see where it goes. It's got a little dividend too. I didn't even know that, Levi, 2.1%. But again, just extracting that alpha from the run-ups ahead of the events works. And that was the easy money. So if you were long this thing for the last couple of days, I think now is the time to book the profits and not take it through the uncertainty of the event.
29.59. I don't know why it spiked on that day. Was that a big day in the market or something?
What are you talking about?
Wait, what day was that?
I got EVI.
Joel's done it again.
Oops.
He forgot the L.
LEVI. I'm like, okay, maybe not. No, it won't get there today. No man's land. Maybe if you're looking for a juicy target, monthly high at 16. That's a ways away. No, not really. Well, 15.24. Big bar yesterday. I was just ahead of the report. I wouldn't want to see it go red. 15.01 up 32 cents at 33 cents. I think it goes red here. You got to ways down to yesterday's low at 14.36. But as long as you stay green here, maybe work your way up towards $16 in Levi Strauss.
Someone mentioned DraftKings, just still waiting on the pricing of that
Yeah.
offer. I have not seen it come through yet. Usually comes through within a couple of days after you announce it.
It's going to hang out. Every ARB is waiting the same thing for the pricing. Where is it going to be? Is it come out at 60? They'll start ripping offers. It'll start ripping higher if it came out at 60. If it comes out at 55, they'll start ripping lower. Nothing matters until we know what that price is.
Wow,
so when we get that price, it can come out in the morning too. So, it could come out. So just keep an eye on your headlines there. When we get that price, you're going to see a move.
60 seems to be the area. Last two lows. If you're trading it just technically, two lows in the same area, 58.60, 58.85.
I don't think they're going to get it done at 60. I think it's going to be, I think it's going to be about 56 or 57 that they're going to have to go out to get this done. And that, is obviously, and we saw a pen. It might pull down to that area. And if it pulls down to the area where the pricing is, I would strike the first time just for a bounce trade off of that, using that whatever the price is as my stop out.
All right. Good. It's had a nice run. So
somebody says they saw 56.
I have not seen any.
I have not seen a price on it either. So I might have missed it though.
What else you want?
You don't see it either.
Spencer?
No, I don't see that. I don't see that.
Okay, we're still waiting. I think we're still waiting.
Yeah.
Maybe it's rumors.
Okay. Helena Troy, HELE. Let's look at that one.
Go, Joel. HELE.
Oh man. 210 resistance. I see that high right there. It's trading up 270. Yeah, but not even if it clears 210, all these highs here. There's a lot of highs in that area. So I use that. Just figure out ballpark that 212, 213 as resistance. That's pretty close to an all-time high.
What's up with Duke Energy lately? DUK.
Well, that got the offer, the bid from the
right,
potential
right,
bid
right.
from NEE.
Ooh, look at
So
that.
that they had made an offer and Duke had rejected it. Obviously, people are suspecting that they might come back with a better offer, and that's why they've continued to buy Duke Energy up. I mean, if it comes out and there's no deal falls apart, you'll see Duke get slammed. So it's holding up because people think that they're going to get, obviously they think they're going to get probably above $100, but I don't know. There's no way to tell whether NEE is going to pull out or not, or whether they're still cooking up a deal. So obviously market thinks they're still cooking up a deal.
Yep, I had forgotten about that headline. All right. What about
How about Disney? I saw someone ask about Disney.
Oh man, this is like
We haven't looked at that one in a while.
Sleepy. The chart looks okay. I'd say above 120.
Yeah.
Again, I don't like it just because I think that they're not firing all cylinders right now. But if you forget about all fundamentals, which is market seems to do, and you just look at the technicals, which is how Nic Chahine approaches it, which is probably not a bad way. I'd say as long as it's above 120 here, you put in a nice little bottom there, 120 and 121. That's kind of where you gapped up from back in August. I don't mind it here. So you could start to show some life. So let's see if it can hold above 120. I would definitely stop out though if it went through 120.
I mean, I don't know how short of a term or what time frame you're looking at this on, but you had a string of 1, 2, 3, 4. You have a string of 5 lower highs, but the highs from yesterday and Friday, 123.60, 123.68, seems to be hanging in there right now. So this one, there is some room here, a little breakout, a double top on the daily chart. So there's some room up to 125.47 on this one. It'd be first you got to get through that 123.68. Looks like you got a little seller at 123.80 here, but spoos keep going, gets through 127. Better off. I don't know if there's any paper at 124, but it looks poised here for a little bit of rally. Yeah, more likely at 125. I don't know about seeing 125.47. There's another double top. Wow, a double top on top of a double top. 123.60, 123.68, and then 125.47, 125.55. The volume's been coming down on this decline, so maybe you just had 1 week or 2 or 3 week sellers, and maybe you mopped them up yesterday.
All right, I'm being told that I think I don't ask for likes enough, so I'm asking for likes now. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button.
Do you like me?
That will
it's like in 3rd grade,
That will make.
Go ask her if she likes me.
That'll make the powers that be happier, I think, and that's what you're supposed to do on YouTube. If we're true YouTubers, we have to. We can't be without asking for likes. So
okay,
I'm doing that now, and that makes us true hardcore YouTubers.
Okay.
That's gonna be a wrap for us. I want to thank our guest Nic Chahine. Thanks to all of you in our chat. There's the YouTube chat, of course. There's the Benzinga.com chat, and there's the Benzinga Pro chat. You can catch a replay of this show on YouTube or catch our podcast wherever you get your podcast. You can also email us premarket@benzinga.com. Please remember that all the information from our show is meant to be used as informational purposes and not for investing or trading advice. We'll be back with you at 3:40 p.m. Eastern Time. Until then, everyone have a great rest of your day.